It feels kind of like a calm week, wouldn't you say, JJK fans? Almost like there's a calm before the storm, before something huge happens in the last chapter. As we know, chapter 270 of JJK came out, the penultimate chapter. It seems like not too much really happened this chapter, but there is still some things that I want to talk about, so let's get right into it. There is one chapter to go. Let's of course start with a chapter recap. So the chapter starts with Megumi praying for Tsumiki in the afterlife, and I've always said in my videos that I actually really like Megumi as a character. The issue with this is that I don't care about Tsumiki at all. They have really had no connection or interaction within the story, but it's fine. At least GEGE gave us some Megumi stuff. And then Shoko has more dialogue, basically, than ever before. And she acts kind of weird. She stops smoking, whatever. Everyone's kind of getting their own conclusion. Shoko then refers to someone, I don't know who it could possibly be, as a moron, and then someone who doesn't know what a phone is manages to call Megumi. I don't understand how Gakuganji whipped out this fucking marvel of modern technology and managed to put in the numbers because, dog, he is fucking 5,000 years old. We're not actually 100% sure that it's Gakuganji calling Megumi, but I had to get this out there, so yeah, Megumi gets whisked away on a mission. Then we find out that Tengen's remains are with Sukuna's, and then the biggest fucking bum of Tengen strikes again, because the only way that their barriers are still gonna continue is if they stay in Sukuna's remains. So until the fucking end, if it wasn't for other characters helping Tengen in some way, you are fucking useless. Then we've got kind of a weird ship where Utahime and Gaku... I actually don't know why I said that. That's kind of a disgusting thought. But regardless, they talk about the future of Jujutsu Kaisen, and then the characterization of Gakuganji shifts really heavily. He's like, you guys don't need to worry about this. Everything's okay. Honestly, he's been kind of portrayed as a villain this entire time, and now he's just like a nice old man. I guess saving the world from utter doom will do that for you, so I'll let it slide. Then we get an explanation on something that we didn't think we would get an explanation to. The Culling Games, it's over. People are working together. Incarnated Sorcerers, Jujutsu Society, and America's mentioned. Roar! I can't believe that that was actually a subplot. It really did go nowhere, but I'm glad GEGE is closing the loops there too. As I'm sure you noticed by now, a lot of the chapter is just kind of winding down. We get the fact that Tokyo was cooked, there's still a lot of cursed spirits. Daigo and Mio, whose names you certainly didn't remember, are chilling. They might go to Tokyo, they might not. And then Charles is writing a manga. Who fucking cares about this? But I will say, if this ends up being a JJK reference, I don't really know what to say. If Charles' manga ends up being called Jujutsu Kaisen GEGE, you deserve an award. I'm not sure what you deserve an award for, but it is an award. It's kind of nice to see all the slice of life things and the wrapping down, but I just don't really care that much for Charles, and you'll see other characters like that in a sec. Someone I do care about, though, is Takaba, and a lot of people thought that he was dead when this was never explicitly stated. In fact, basically the opposite was stated, but regardless, he's practicing a comedy routine with someone, and you look at who this someone is it fucking Kenjaku? You might be asking, because that was my initial reaction. Look at this hair. They could be. I don't think so, though. I'll elaborate on that in just a sec, but I'm almost certain it's not Kenjaku. And then we get Amai talking to / apologizing to a fat person, which was completely irrelevant. I know you used to hang out with bullies, dude. I just don't give a fuck about you. Make your sugar brain water and leave. I'm realizing now this chapter is like up and down in terms of who I care about, because next is Higuruma, who is not prosecuted and will work as a sorcerer, and he should have died to Suki, to be honest, because man, he looks depressed as fuck in this chapter. I know, work sucks, but he also has a Kim Wexler, who says that she will prosecute him for killing people. It's a Saul Goodman relationship. But Higuruma fans are eating nice because the man whose innate talent rivals even Satoru Gojo's manages to survive and will work as a sorcerer now. I'm actually kind of excited that he's alive because I like him as a character, just didn't expect it. Then we see Megumi taking responsibility for what happened to Hana, for biting her arm off. And he says that he wants to be her right hand. She thinks, oh yeah, let's get married. Megumi's a little bit scared because he's a 16-year-old boy, but this is definitely setting up the future for another baby Fushiguro. Which actually kind of irks me because after everything Hana has done, which is, let me check my notes, fucking nothing, she'll still get a happy ending. Oh my god, Hana, why, GEGE, why, Hana? And then the chapter ends with this dude with huge bug eyes, which is actually really more unnerving than a lot of horror elements of JJK in my opinion, but only his fiancée can see him like this. Perhaps a curse user is affecting him? So the main trio will go deal with it. It seems pretty easy. It's either a semi-grade 1 curse spirit or some curse user that's just spreading negative energy. We don't know yet. What I will say though is that I really liked seeing the main trio again back together in this chapter in particular. I wish we had more of those moments, but it's nice. It felt like the beginning of JJK. So let's talk about the implications in chapter 270. First of all, the leakers said that this chapter would give chills. Leakers can do two fucking things. One, spoil the chapter before it comes out, and two, fucking lie, apparently, because what part of this chapter gave you chills? There's one part of this chapter that might give you chills, but the leakers could certainly not figure this out because, you know, we know what to expect from the leakers. Call me jaded, call me expecting to see the downfall of JJK, but I actually did not hate this chapter. I hated the previous chapter, but this chapter actually felt right in line with what I think was gonna happen. In two chapters, you can't do too much, At least we didn't get simple domain lore. We got conclusions to some character arcs, kind of. We at least get to see that some people are alive and thriving. But there's absolutely no way that it's Kenjaku. GEGE, if you are cooking that Kenjaku is back, I honestly don't think that that can be a satisfying ending. I think you are burning whatever you are cooking. My prediction, my theory for who Takaba brought back is someone that reminds him of Kenjaku, someone that he's just doing comedy with, that would kind of fall more in line with his character. Otherwise, he's the greatest healer in all of JJK, perhaps the strongest character in all of JJK because he just reses people from the dead. My question kind of is, why are we shown Amai and Charles? Like, they were never really that important other than Charles being the person who was actually closest to killing Hikari, but I mean, I'd rather see Todo. I'd rather see maybe some of the Kyoto students or characters that were more important through JJK, but maybe that's for the last chapter. So all in all, this chapter is just basically a typical falling action. It's resolutionary, you can't hate on it too much. However, if you've noticed, I have not mentioned Gojo a single time. And neither has this chapter. I actually think this is incredibly important because GEGE knows that Gojo is his by far most popular character. Everybody wants to see Gojo. He is aware of this fact. So the fact that he didn't do it in this chapter and the last chapter gives me a lot of hope that honestly, next chapter is the Gojo chapter. Like, at this point, it just seems too intentional. I know that there's a lot of GEGE hates Gojo memes, but no, there's just no way. Like, he cannot be that dumb. I swear to you. And then last but not least, the title of the chapter is Dream's End. So in conclusion, wait, what the fuck? The title of the chapter is Dream's End. Why has no one been talking about this? Why have I not seen anyone talking about the title of the chapter? Titles are incredibly important. What does this mean? It could be yet another go nowhere plot, or it could be huge. This fact alone has me hyped for the last chapter, because the last thing we ever see Gojo say in the manga is, "Now I'm hoping this isn't a dream." Bro, the puzzle pieces are all coming together. It simply has to be. The implications for this are massive. Yes, Gojo might come back in one way or another. I don't even know if I would like that depending on how it's done. Was everything a dream because of Yuji's domain? Did Sukuna actually just win? Like, holy shit, the theory fuel here is insane. And honestly, I think that's why I like this chapter. It's setting up the final chapter of JJK, a series that I've grown to know and love so dearly as something potentially mind-blowing, and I'm here for it. So in conclusion, what can we say about chapter 270 of JJK? First of all, Chainsaw Man is super fun right now, and you should definitely check it out or catch up if you haven't yet done that. But this was a very typical resolutionary chapter. Some irrelevant bits, but it's kind of just expected at this point. I liked seeing the character interactions amongst the main trio, even though there wasn't too much of it. Yeah, the character interactions as a series of a whole is definitely a weak point, but I still enjoyed this. And I think that there's a lot of theory fuel for the last chapter. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Please let me know what you think. Do you think Gojo's making a comeback? Do you think it was Yuji's domain? Do you think it was just bait that GEGE threw again? And if it is bait, I don't understand. It's like the planets are aligning all for the end of JJK to have what the audience wants, whether it's good writing or bad. But I mean, if everyone's living, fucking everyone's living. We already got a shonen-ass ending. I'm really excited to see what it is. I have faith for one last time. If I'm blown away by the ending, everything bad I've said will not go away, but I'll forgive some of it. So ultimately, this was the calm before the storm. I think next week is going to be interesting in multiple ways. It could be a revolutionary chapter, it could be dog shit, and somehow I'm here for both of it. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know down below. You are looking so charming and beautiful. I'm kind of jealous. I'm trying to get like you these days. I will see you guys when the last chapter comes out. Hope it's good. I love you. Goodbye.